Welcome back to yet another Buffalo Bills pregame show. It's your host, Randy. I'm here with Jared and Dan today. Hopefully, the Zoom videos will be in that order when it comes up in the video. Haha. And we just finished up a game against New England. We're preparing for the Bills game versus the Falcons this year. But before we start talking Falcons, we're going to discuss for a moment the New England Patriots game this past prime time Sunday. And Jared, you were at the game, so why don't we start with you?
Well, it was possibly my last time in the stadium in the seats I've been sitting in for 30 years, so it was not a good way to go out, I will say that. The second they said Sean Hockley was the ref, I literally said out loud, they're going to throw a flag on every play. Now, they didn't throw a flag on every play, but it sure felt like they did. It made me look up some statistics on Sean Hockley. He throws the second most flags of any ref in the league, all consistent. He threw 22 flags the week before in the Giants-Chargers game, 14 flags against the Chargers, 11 on us. I mean, it boggles my mind that like somebody can have that big of a statistics of just throwing flags all the time, and that's just the way things are apparently. It's not a good thing. As for the actual game, minus the refs screwing up with the momentum and everything, you can't have three turnovers. You can't do it and expect to just have everything work out fine for you. So the Bills, this is a wake-up call game. They've lost. I mean, they've destroyed teams with either no wins or only one win, and we have our first two-win team, and we lose. So, and we're about to play a two-win team. So I think, you know, we're on notice.
The thing about all the penalties is it makes it so much fun to watch the game, stopping all the time to hear the ref speak. Maybe they get paid by the penalty. Maybe he's just looking out for he's got to live in his dad's shadow, so he's just trying to pad the statistics here early in his career. Uh, do you think it would be fair that this might be remembered as the Hockley game going forward?
There's too many hockey league games, so I don't think it will be.
No.
It'll be known as the game where they tried to do the snow uniforms and everybody burns them after.
Yeah, I don't think the fans are going to be too keen on that super again right away, huh? Dan, any immediate thoughts on the New England game reaction?
Yeah, like Jared mentioned, I think that was clearly a wake-up call. I think there were signs of it in the last few weeks against the Dolphins, against the Saints last week, where they didn't look great, but their opponents weren't that good, so they got the win anyway. And then I think they finally played a decent team, and they ended up losing. They really it seems like they forced the offense into. I think Sean McDermott mentioned it in a press conference, was saying that, they were playing the way that the Patriots wanted them to play. They were forcing them into that. It seems like Josh wasn't able to get anything going. The only thing he really had was the scrambles, which, he's always really good at, but seemed like there wasn't really anyone getting open, on the first read. So, they're definitely going to need to work that out as well. And, I definitely think it's one you want to win, but I think sitting at 4-1, I think they're still in pretty good shape. And then the opponents they're playing continue to not be the highest quality opponents.
Well, I agree with you that, and you rise to the level of your competition. Had this game as a victory easily, and I wasn't taking it seriously to the point where I didn't even wear my lucky undershirt under my work uniform at the stadium this week, and we lost. So I haven't heard it mentioned in any other media, so you heard it here. The real reason we lost this game is because I didn't wear the right shirt. I don't like to throw our graphics department under the bus, but it was the Hawk Tua shirt, the famous shirt that I'm sure will be referenced now. Um, and so for now on, I won't make that mistake again. So we can guarantee undefeated at home for the rest of the season. So I just wanted to make sure we got that in there. But looking forward, Dan, the you might, as you probably remember, burnt into your memory of Buffalo Bills pre-games past. Your first show with us ever was a Falcons game, which is only a once in a 4-year event. So it's pretty odd. Any fond memories of our Falcons, your NFC team, just to commemorate that time?
All right, our next thing is this kid over here is not just a kid we got off the street. He's actually my cousin, Danny Riley. We brought him in. Maybe we'll bring him in future. And we just wanted to get his perspective. He's 11 years old.
I can't really say that the Falcons are my NFC team. I feel like growing up, just because solely on the fact they were terrible, if anything, the Lions would have been my NFC team. But
Well, I really don't have it. I like the Sabres, I like the Bills, I like the Falcons. Well, not
anyway, no, the Falcons are not my second team to answer your question.
Too,
Um,
too young to remember Deion Sanders, a young Deion Sanders on the Falcons. He looked good in the black.
yeah, I mean, the Falcons are cool. That was actually Um, that was the first ever Bills regular season game that I went to was also against the Falcons in 2005. That was with Michael Vick and Roddy White and those guys. I don't even remember half the people on the team, but yeah, no. So definitely have some cool memories seeing the Falcons play. As we were talking about before the show, Brian Brown being the starting quarterback for that game, I believe, and I don't was that the game that George Wilson had that really long. The Bills had like a blocked field goal and they returned it and then got tackled at the 1 yard line. I don't know if that was that game or if that was a different one. That was also against the Falcons. Um, so yeah, no, this is gonna be interesting. They don't play in Atlanta often, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, in a
Josh's
stadium at
first
least.
trip.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot in the stadium this past week, so I can't imagine how bad it'd be if it wasn't like inside down there in Atlanta. Uh, Jared, you had some thoughts about a Monday Night Football game in '91?
Right. Okay. So kind of like Dan's first game was against the Falcons, or first in-person game, and then his first show with on Buffalo's pregame show was a Falcons game. My earliest memory of watching a Bills game was a Week 6 Monday Night Football game against the Chiefs, but it was Week 6, and we were coming into that game 5-0. So this video that you're watching right now was originally going to start with like a little mosh posh of like an updated version of the Monday Night Football intro versus the actual footage from 1991. But because we lost yesterday, you will never see this video because now it's absolutely pointless because we're 4-1. But but that's what I mean. I think though what happened yesterday against the Patriots kind of relates to that Monday Night Football game because we came into last night's game 4-0 and we weren't expecting to lose the game. And then we lost the game. So I was kind of thinking that might have been the situation for the Falcons game, but it ended up being the situation for the Patriots game.
Um, I think we're up against a opponent in New England that we weren't expecting for sure, and that we've raised the level of our opponents, and we just weren't ready for New England. And I don't think the Falcons will be as nearly big a bite this week. On
Mm.
the offensive side of the ball, James Cook has not been as involved against New England as he perhaps should have, and in the absence of, like Dan said, Josh just running around, making offense on his own. What can we do systematically to bring Cook into the game more? Jared, we'll start with you.
I mean, I think we just got to look at what we did against the Saints, actually, because the Saints were kind of a mere mid-tier uh, rushing defense, whereas that's where the Falcons are. Like the other defenses we played were the worst in the league, except for the Patriots, who were one of the best in the league at rushing defense. Josh Allen was the leading rusher against the Patriots. Like we can't have that happen against the Falcons. So the key is just running James Cook as much as we can, and again using what we did against the Saints as our model of what we need to do against the Falcons.
Dan, any thoughts on the offensive production?
Yeah, no, I think they need to. First of all, I think besides the fact that they need to get James Cook the ball more, it seems like they've been throwing the ball down the field less overall this past few games, and a couple of the games they've been up by a lot and not really needing to throw the ball, but I feel like sometimes you gotta let Josh just do what he's gonna do, and it felt like he hadn't done that in a while, and he tried doing that last night, and it wasn't working as well. So, maybe open the field up for Josh, then start giving, handing the ball off to James Cook and, try some screen passes to James. Because I think he's definitely someone, the same way that, you just need to get Saquon Barkley the ball, whether it's him going out for routes or handing the ball off. You want to get James Cook the ball as much as possible, whether that's passing or running.
I felt the same way that there has been a little bit less throwing down the field to get those safeties and linebackers taking a step back before forward to get the ball will probably help out a lot. Dan, we'll stick with you for the other side of the ball. Bills are 28th against the run. Do you expect Atlanta to try to run it down our throats?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they would. The way that the Bills have been tackling is they've just been terrible at tackling, it seems. And, you know, I mean, obviously a sack on a quarterback's a little bit different than just average downfield tackling. But, it felt like they had Drake May last night and they didn't get him. And then he makes that play to Diggs, and that kind of just the end of the game almost right there. They need to work on their tackling, definitely. And it felt like when they were blitzing a little bit, that was working. So, mix that in as well. And I think they might need to possibly at the trade deadline. I think they're going to need to find someone at cornerback, or see how Max Hairston is at least. Because I feel like Trey White. Trey White's been he's always been great on the Bills, but he seems like he might be missing just a step, maybe a little bit.
Jared, how much of our lack of ability to stop the run do you chalk up to injuries on the front line?
A huge part of it. I mean, Ed Oliver's been out like it feels like the whole season. I don't know. I mean, last night I didn't even realize TJ Sanders was out last night, and so who was the other starter? Was it Deion Walker? Was that the starter? I mean, yeah, our fourth round D tackle out of Kentucky. Like, I mean, that you have to go through a lot of tackles to get to him being the starter. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I'm just saying he's not a starter yet. And yeah, it's just so yeah, a lot of it's injury. I would say that's probably half of it. Like, but even if we had our best players, we're probably still in the mid, if at best. Like the big thing I'm seeing is tackling. We're hitting the players, but they're getting extra yards on us all the time. We got to just go back to fundamentals and just tackle the players when we have them in our grasp.
Does that leave you enough time to make your pick, Jared? Are you ready to go to pick the Bills?
Yeah, you know what? I would have picked the Falcons, but I follow another YouTube channel, and his rule on his channel is he never picks the Falcons, just by coincidence. It has nothing to do with his game. That's his rule. His if he had a slogan, it would be like, "We don't pick the Falcons." So I'm gonna go with that philosophy. I'm gonna say 33-26 Bills, solely based on that.
High
But
scoring game, nearly
yeah, I just
nearly 60 points.
we'll see. Well, I mean, what did I just predict? 59.
Yep.
So I guess less than
All right.
60.
All right, Dan. What do you think? High scoring affair?
Um, I'm gonna guess that the Bills struggle a little bit on offense, play some good defense. They win 20-10. Not even to say that 20 points is struggling on offense, but I'm gonna go with 20-10 Bills.
I'll give the Bills 23-13, just coast to a not hard, not very exciting victory. We're away from home for 4 weeks, so we don't need to do anything too flashy, I don't think. We're not going to hear Mr. Brightside or anything. So, but we, as Buffalo Bills pregame, will be back in time for the Buccaneers game. Sticking with the NFC South theme here for a little bit. We'll cover them while we can. But in the meantime, thank y'all so much. We look forward to talking to y'all again real soon. And go Bills. Woo!
I like how you included the paper toss and the football roll in this video.
Well, I give the people what they want, Jared.